This episode you will see quite a special piece of kit reviewed. That's a super ultra light rod, suitable for micro lures when targeting silverfish. Before going any further, I have to mention that this review is not paid. So I paid for this rod out of my own pocket, and also that's a long time review because I'm using this rod for about a year. Actually, since they appeared on the market, I ordered one and I'm using one since then. And now let's start with the delivery and all the related matters. The rod obviously came in a hard plastic tube as always. It's about the diameter or thickness of the wall of the cardboard tube is about 2 to 3 millimeters, so it's decent really packaging. And also the rod itself was packed in one of them like luxury Kuying's sleeves, so 3 layers as always, and neoprene layer in the middle, not very thick neoprene, a couple mils, but still it's much better and much higher quality than any other manufacturer really. And the delivery took about 10 days. It's more or less normal with them Kuying rods. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but about 10 days it's normal. And the good thing is that you can always order spare tips by contacting the seller, and they will be able to sort you out, so it's not a problem. Even though the seller or manufacturer is not well known, it's not Shimano, Daiwa or others, but the support is second to none really. And now about the rod itself. Let's start with the boot section, or the thicker section. Even though I'm saying thicker, you would not believe the thickness just by the reel seat is just under 6 millimeters. So very slim blank. Actually that's the slimmest blank I ever seen like on that kind of rod. And so from the end, I will mention right from the start when I'm talking about this area, the handle is very short, as you can see from the end of the rod to the reel seat. It's about even less than 20 centimeters. So it has hard foam here, some like pin components here and here. They do look quite nice actually. Then the reel seat is very minimalistic, and I quite like that kind of configuration. It sits very well in my hand. The reel seat obviously is a Fuji, very high quality. And now about the rod itself, it's a Kuying Teton TTS510S. The length is 5 feet and 10 inches, so it would be about 1 meter and 75 or 1 meter 80 centimeters, and casting rating is from 0.3 to 3 grams. Line rating in pounds is from 1 to 3 pounds. And this rod is very light as well. Actually it weighs just under 60 grams, about 58 grams. Very light rod. Then we have Fuji guides. One guide on the butt section and 7 or 8 on the tip section. 8 actually. And the rod has, or the tip section is actually solid. So, and the solid section actually is quite long. So like, I hope you will be able to see from here to the end. That's a solid, and it's about 40 centimeters of solid tip. So probably they needed such a long tip to be able to have that fast action. So I will mention it once again, that's a very fast rod. The action, I mean, is very fast. But good thing though is that if I would have this rod assembled, still it has some like flex in the butt section, as you can see, because the blank is so slim. And even though it might look like it won't be fast, but the action is fast in the range which is declared on the rod. If you will be using less than 3 grams or casting less than 3 grams, this rod will act as very fast blank. But once you hook a fish, even on very light lines, the blank will absorb the lunges of big fish. So like big bream, for example, they like to nod a little bit, and this kind of rod helps to land very big fish on very, very light lines. And now very quickly about bite indication. I have to say that every little touch is visible on the tip like insanely well, like more or less like a feeder bite, just proper knock. And quite often, especially from like perch or roach, you will feel the bite through the hand as well. I mean, sometimes those bites do look quite aggressive as well, even though the tip is quite like bendy, if you like, but the bite indication, as I mentioned, sometimes will be transmitted through the blank into the hand, which is awesome on such a light rod. Now, very quickly about the reels you should use with this rod. I would say you need to use very high quality reel with this rod, and it must weight 160 or better, even less than that. In this case I have, as you can see, Daiwa Ballistic 2000, and it weighs with a line about 170 grams, so it's a little bit too heavy for this rod, I would say, but you will see the balance in a second. It's not bad. I mean, the reel is a little bit too heavy for this rod, but you can use it. I don't have any lighter reel, so I'm using with this one, but ideally you should need a little bit lighter reels than 160 grams. If you can obtain like one of them expensive Shimano's, then you should consider getting one of them expensive Shimano's, but like this ballistic probably would be minimum you should go for. Also, you can try to get like ballistic or something like that with that weight, and try replacing the handle with like refined handle, which will like knock the weight probably 10 or 20 grams, even more maybe, and then you will be good. But still, I mean, it's not terrible. It's not terrible, but it's not perfect. You would need a bit lighter reel ideally with this rod. Also, very quickly, whether the casting rating, which is from 0.3 to 3 grams, matches the reality. In my opinion, it does, and it does very well. So I tried this rod with very light weights, like from 0.2 with a very tiny lures, and this rod was able to flick those lures out quite well. So the bottom is good when it comes to casting rating, and then 3 grams. I would say it's accurate as well, because I tried to use it with a little bit heavier weights, with a drop shot weight. I remember in a couple situations I needed, because of the wind, a little bit heavier weights, and I used this rod. And this rod performed quite well actually with 2.5 gram weight and small lure as well. The tip didn't go like to overload, and it was casting well, and I was able to present the lure quite well, and the bite indication was good as well. So the casting rating is very accurate in my opinion on this rod. If you are interested how this rod performs in a real situation, I would advise to check that link in the corner, because I did a video a couple months back and I used this rod for silverfish fishing mainly. Of course I did catch some perch, but mainly I caught some bream and other species, so you will see some action of that very rod. And now about the prices of this rod. Obviously that's a very specialist tackle, and you should consider like very well, do you need that kind of a rod. I would say if you are looking or want to try to get into silverfish fishing using lures, then this rod is very good start, and probably you wouldn't need any other rod for that kind of fishing. So the prices are as follows. It's not exactly cheap, but again, that kind of specialist tackle, they are very rarely cheap. So the prices are as follows. It will be about 90 pounds, about 91 euros and 98 United States dollars. And those prices are now, as I'm doing this review, it's 2020 May. But it will be it from me for today. I hope you will find this content useful. Let me remind you, if you will decide to purchase one of these rods yourself, please consider using those links below. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.